This movie reflects a reality that many people tend to not believe in. It reflects how big of a role luck has to play in our lives, and we are not even aware of it. But in truth, it can make or destroy your life. Let's see how the story depicts it in the best possible way. Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2005 romance thriller film Match Point. It's time to recall. Let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts out with our main character Chris telling us that having luck is very important in life. People do not believe in luck because they are afraid of losing. There comes a point in a tennis match when the ball hits the net. Now, it could either land on your side or your opponent's side. This is when your luck comes into play. If you are lucky, you could come out victorious, and if not, you could come out a loser. Chris is actually a very successful tennis player, but he is tired of going to different countries on tour, so he's decided to retire and take up this profession as an instructor. He finds a job at an upmarket club in London. He now has a rich pupil whose name is Tom, and they are now good friends as well. Tom tells Chris that he likes opera, but he has no one who can accompany him. Chris then reveals that he likes opera too, and the two bond over this common interest, and Tom invites Chris. When they go to watch opera, it turns out that Tom's whole family is already there. Tom's parents and his sister named Chloe. Chloe is Tom's elder sister. She meets Chris for the first time and gets good vibes from the man. Tom tells Chris that his sister liked having him the other day and she has now invited him to see her parents. Chris goes over to his house and they play tennis. Chloe also joins them, and then Chris and Chloe spend some time together and get to know each other. Chloe gets to know that Chris basically comes from a poor family, but he made his way up and became a professional tennis player, and now he is well off. Chloe likes everything about Chris so far. She then invites Chris to an art exhibition. There he meets Nola Rice, and she seems very attractive to him. She is a good tennis table player, and no one is able to defeat her that day. Chris then takes on Nola and defeats her. Nola then starts flirting with Chris, saying he is too aggressive, and Chris asks her if she's ever been told that her lips are too sensual. Amidst this flirting, Tom appears and introduces Chris to Nola, telling him that she is his fiancée. Nola is a professional actress, and Tom's mother does not like this profession, but she has to make her peace with it because Tom really loves Nola. Chris nowadays has a lot of free time to spend with Chloe as he does not have many students, and Chloe really likes it. She wants to help out Chris, so she talks to her father about Chris asking him if they have a vacant position. They can give it to Chris. Her father says yes to it, but when Chloe tells Chris about it, he does not seem to be a fan of the idea, as he said he does not know a thing about business and adds that he won't be good at this job. Chloe, however, tells him that she believes in him and that he is going to do great. That night, Chris and Chloe go on a double date with Nola and Tom. Chris seems interested in Nola, and he wants to know more about her, so he asks her about her movies. Nola, however, tells him that she has only gotten one commercial so far, and after that, she has not gotten a chance. She adds that she has been considering quitting acting. Chris decides to take up the job at Chloe's father's company. One day they are hanging out and Chris gives Chloe a DVD. They plan on spending a nice evening together. Chloe tells Chris that Tom and Nola had invited them over for dinner, but she said no because she wanted to hang out with Chris. When he hears Nola's name, Chris says that they can hang out anytime and that they should go to dinner with Tom and Nola. Chris is now interested in Nola. They go to the dinner, but Nola is not there that night. It turns out she has an audition and she is at home being nervous about it. The next day, Chris is out when he runs into Nola. She is about to go for her audition and she is extremely nervous about it. Chris tells her that she is gonna do great. Chris then accompanies her to the place where Nola is auditioning. When Nola comes out, she tells him that the audition did not go well, and Chris tells her that she needs a drink to calm herself down. They then go to a place to have a drink together. Nola reveals that her father abandoned her when she was just a kid and she has always wanted to become someone big. That's why she is in pursuit of making a career as an actress. Chris then asks Nola about her and Tom's relationship. She tells him that they met at a party. Tom started liking her right away and he used to send her lots of gifts, giving her a lot of attention. Tom proposed to her and they are now engaged. Nola says that she has been frustrated lately because Tom's mother does not like her. Chris then says that he thinks she does not like him either. At this, Nola tells him that Chloe's parents really like him and they are already talking about their marriage. She reveals that Chloe had a really bad boyfriend before him and compared to that person, Chris is really nice. She asks Chris not to screw up. Chris asks her how he is going to screw up and Nola says by getting into an affair with her. On a weekend, all of them are together when Tom's mother and Nola get into an argument. Nola gets really angry during the argument and she storms off as it is raining outside. Seeing her going out in the storm, Chris follows Nola and the two start to get close. Nola tells him that it is not a good idea as they might end up doing something stupid. Chris confesses his feelings for her and they passionately have sex in a wheat field. Feeling guilty, Nola treats this as an accident. Chris, however, wants an ongoing clandestine relationship. Nola, however, tells him that whatever they did was a big mistake as both of them are involved with other people. After that, Chris gets married to Chloe. They go out to see a nice house to live in, but Chris says that they are not going to be able to afford it. Chloe says that her father is going to help them out. After a few days, when Chris and Tom are playing tennis, Chris gets to know that Tom has broken up with Nola. He says that he has left her because of his mother as she wants him to marry a cousin of his. Chris tries to find and contact Nola, but to no avail. Chloe and Chris, on the other hand, are trying to get pregnant these days. Chloe wants to start a family as soon as possible. Chris is not a fan of the idea, but he ends up agreeing. Tom, on the other hand, gets married to his cousin. One day, Chris runs into Nola. She tells him that she wanted to go away for a while, but now she's back. Chris asks her where she lives and if they can get together sometime. Nola, however, reminds him that he is married now. Amidst their conversation, Chloe gets there. She finds it a little awkward talking to Nola, so she leaves. Chris then goes on to beg Nola for her phone number. Nola hesitates, but ends up giving him her contact. The next thing we see, they are having sex. Chris starts coming to her house regularly, and Nola's maid also gets familiar with him. One day, while Chris is having dinner with Tom and Chloe, a friend of his comes to him and says that she saw Chris and called him, but Chris did not hear. He then goes on to mention the place where he saw Chris, and that place is Nola's town. Chris says that it was not him, and Chloe does not bother much about it, so Chris manages to get out of it easily. Chris and Nola continue their affair. Chris tells Nola that he is not happy with Chloe and that he is going to leave her. Nola keeps asking Chris to tell Chloe the truth and leave her, but Chris says that he will do it soon enough. Chris goes away on a weekend with the whole family, and there he receives a call from Nola. She tells him that she wants to see him right away, but Chris says he cannot meet her. Chris tries to make an excuse to Chloe in order to get out of spending time with the family, but it does not work. At night, Nola calls again and tells Chris that she is pregnant. The next day, Chris goes to see her. Nola suggests he divorce Chloe and they will start a new life together. Chris is really worried these days, and Chloe starts noticing his worry and his distraction. One day, she says that she thinks she cannot get pregnant, and that is why Chris has been behaving this way. Chris tells her that it's not true. In the next scene, Chris meets one of his friends and tells him everything that has been going on in his life lately. He tells him that he cannot leave Chloe because he has a big job because of her, and his standard of living has gone up just because of Chloe and her family. He thinks of a plan. In order to avoid Nola, he tells her that they are going away for the whole month on vacation, and when they come back, he will tell everything to Chloe. In truth, he is going nowhere. One day, Chloe's father comes to see Chris and Chloe at their house, and he gives a big promotion to Chris. Nola, on the other hand, tries calling Chris, but he keeps ignoring her calls. Nola gets angry and goes to Chris's office. When she is about to get in the office, she sees Chris coming out and gets extremely angry at him. They get into a big fight, and Chris tells her that they got back early and he was about to call her. Nola then goes on to warn him that if he doesn't have the guts to talk to his wife, she herself is going to tell her everything. Chris is now in big trouble. He is unable to sleep at night thinking about the mess he's created. His father-in-law has a lot of guns because he likes hunting. One day, Chris steals one of his guns. At night, when Chloe tries to open Chris's bag, he takes the bag from her because he has the gun in that bag. To avert her attention away from the bag, he tells her that they are going to watch a play tomorrow. The next day, Chris calls Nola and tells her that he has told everything to Chloe and tells her that he is going to see her at her house at 7 in the evening. He goes to Nola's building and gains entry into the apartment of her neighbor, Mrs. Eastby, whom he shoots and kills, and then stages a burglary by ransacking the rooms and stealing jewelry and drugs. Amidst this, a man knocks at the door, but Chris does not answer it and he goes away after a while. Chris now waits for Nola to arrive as he told her that they were going to meet at 7. As Nola returns, he shoots her in the stairwell. Chris then takes a taxi to the theater to watch a musical with Chloe. Scotland Yard investigates the crime and concludes it was likely committed by a drug addict stealing money. The following day, as the murder is in the news, Chris returns the shotgun and he and Chloe announce that she is pregnant. Detective Mike Banner invites Chris for an interview in relation to the murder. Before he goes in to see the detectives, Chris throws Mrs. Eastby's jewelry and drugs into the river, but by chance, her ring bounces on the railing and falls to the pavement. This imagery ties into the opening scene when a tennis ball hits the net but bounces back, and the narrator says, "The man who said I'd rather be lucky than good saw deeply into life. People are afraid to face how great a part of life is dependent on luck. It's scary to think so much is out of one's control. There are moments in a match when the ball hits the top of the net, and for a split second it can either go forward or fall back. With a little luck it goes forward and you win, or maybe it doesn't and you lose." At the police station, Chris lies about his relationship with Nola, but Banner surprises him with her diary in which he is featured extensively. He confesses his affair but denies any link to the murder and appeals to the detectives to not involve him further in the investigation, as news of the affair may end his marriage just as he and his wife are expecting a baby. He tells the detective that he really loves his wife and does not want to hurt her. One night, Chris sees apparitions of Nola and Mrs. Eastby who tell him to be ready for the consequences of his actions. He replies that his crimes, though wrong, had been necessary and that he is able to suppress his guilt. The same night, Banner dreams that Chris committed the murders. The next morning, however, his theory is discredited by his partner. Doubt appears and goes on to inform him that a drug addict has been found murdered on the streets. When they searched his pockets, he had Mrs. Eastby's ring in his pocket. This is the luck we talked about at the start of the movie. That one ring saves Chris. Banner and Dowd consider the case closed and abandon any further investigation. Chloe gives birth to a baby boy named Terrence, and his uncle blesses him not with greatness, but with luck. This is where the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.